The transmission came without ceremony. A flat, metallic voice crackled across neutral galactic frequencies. By order of the Threx Dominion, Species 9-B is hereby designated hostile. Territorial infringement will be met with military cleansing. You have 72 hours to surrender. No one on Earth knew what that meant. Species 9-B? Hostile? The Earth's United Systems Council scrambled to identify the source. No warnings, no demands. Just a war declaration wrapped in bureaucratic arrogance. Analysts traced the signal to an alien empire mapped only in the deep records Threx Dominion. A mid-core species with a reputation for quick, brutal expansion and zero diplomacy. Within 16 hours, their answer arrived. Not in words. In wreckage, a remote orbital research facility on Enceladus, home to 137 scientists, physicians, and xenobiologists, was vaporized in a precision strike. No survivors, no demands. Just silence after the impact, as if the attackers had already moved on to the next objective. On Earth, the Systems Council sat frozen. Emergency alerts echoed across interplanetary comms. The defense network surged online, but there was no retaliation. Not yet. The public panicked, but leadership didn't. There was no rage. It's only calculation. The head of Earth's outer defense, Fleet Admiral Lara Anza, stood as the room debated sanctions, alliances, and evacuation protocols. She said just 7 words. That was a mistake. They don't know us. Somewhere in a black site bunker buried under Europa's ice, tactical AI nodes spun up. On Mars, unmanned fabrication yards accelerated their output. Earth's orbital dry docks, long dormant from peacetime disarmament treaties, roared back to life. And on the surface, not a single civilian was told anything. Back in the Threx war chamber, the attack was celebrated like a footnote. Another world punished, another species checked. The Grand Executor of the Threx fleet flicked through status updates with lazy eyes and a predator's boredom. Earth was categorized as primitive, dangerous, mostly to itself. Their war record, self-inflicted wounds, canal wars, climate collapse, economic chaos, a species that had no business being among the stars. "This will be fast," said the Executor. "No need for full fleet deployment. One strike wing should do. Crush their satellites. Disable comes. Take their moons. No ground incursion required. They'll fold." But they didn't know what Enceladus meant to Earth. It wasn't just a lab, it was where Earth's first deep space child was born. Where the first interstellar handshake with the Gliari happened, and where the first death in space warfare just occurred. The scientists weren't soldiers. They were Earth's dreamers. And now, they were gone. On the 3rd day, the Threx caught stray signal from the human side. Single ships, small, old, retrofitted civilian haulers slipped past their forward picket. It didn't fire, it didn't broadcast, just coasted into their sensor range and detonated, releasing an encoded burst of human frequencies embedded in static. One line, translated from Earth Standard. You picked the wrong species to provoke. The Threx deployed a standard strike fleet to Mars orbit 12 cruisers, 4 dreadnoughts, and a swarm of automated skirmishers. Their plan was routine: overwhelm sensor arrays, disable planetary comms, and demonstrate overwhelming superiority. Before issuing Earth's formal terms of surrender, it was textbook conquest, except the textbook didn't apply. The fleet arrived to silence. No energy signatures, no thermal spikes, no launch sequences. Mars appeared empty, abandoned, suspicious, but not alarming. The Threx command ship inched closer, scanning for traps. Their sensors detected faint mineral traces in orbit floating debris. Old satellites, maybe. Outdated, derelict junk. They were wrong. Those satellites were passive Singularity Mines black hole seeds wrapped in magneto shells and hidden among cosmic dust. Once triggered, they cracked open space like glass. For Threx ships were torn from existence in an instant. No alarms, no explosions, just absence where matter had once been. Before the Threx could regroup, the next wave hit. Not from ships, from space itself. Earth's first response is launched micro-warp decoys and quantum mirrors, scattering the Threx targeting systems. Their own weapons began misfiring. Command relays collapsed into chaos. Tactical feeds displayed human signals where none existed. Some Threx cruisers turned on each other in confusion. Onboard one surviving dreadnought, they finally captured something, a human pilot. Her vessel had been rammed into the hull with no shields, no backup, no escape pod. Dragged into the brig, she was bloodied but grinning. Even as Threx security restrained her. "You think you understand war?" she told them. "You've never met anything like us?" The interrogator laughed. "You're one species. We are an empire." She looked him in the eye and said, "We're not fighting to win. We're fighting to end you." Across nearby colonies, Earth's retaliation turned surgical. Instead of engaging in planetary bombardment or fleet-scale duels, human forces began targeting Threx logistics. Refueling stations vanished in plasma blasts. Communications satellites were hacked to loop recordings of Earth's extinct languages' dead dialects playing like ghosts across Threx space, and always, behind every attack there was a message. This is only the beginning. The Threx tried to adapt, but the problem was not technological, it was psychological. Their species had built war into systems, structured, predicted, formalized. Humanity didn't operate on those terms. They poisoned water vapor. Moons into kinetic projectiles. They sent drones broadcasting nothing but silence because even fear itself became a weapon. In less than 4 standard days, Earth hadn't just retaliated, they had rewritten the rules of conflict. No hierarchy, no honor, no hesitation. And they still hadn't launched a single formal fleet. When the Threx executor reviewed the data, his voice faltered for the first time. These, aren't just savages with teeth. They're ghosts. Engineers. Of chaos, they fight like they've already lost everything once. His adjutant corrected him quietly. They have. Asterisk, the Threx had always measured strength by scale numbers, ships, raw energy output. But now, those metrics meant nothing. Humanity wasn't winning because of superior firepower. They were winning because they refused to lose the way anyone else ever had. Threx High Command ordered a full cultural analysis of Earth, desperate to understand what they'd provoked. What they found unnerved even their war-hardened analysts. Earth's entire history was a blood-soaked manual in survival. Not just wars between nations, but genocides, plagues, mass extinctions, collapses so catastrophic they made interstellar warfare look quaint. And yet every time, humans clawed their way back. Stronger, meaner, smarter. They learned to turn suffering into structure. Their global internet, born from Cold War paranoia. Their greatest advancements in medicine and energy, spawned from pandemics and reactor failures. Their science of spaceflight, built from the remnants of missiles designed to annihilate their own species. They didn't evolve despite disaster. They evolved because of it. The Threx began to fear. They had made war with a species that never stopped practicing for extinction. On the front lines, Threx soldiers encountered civilians who fought harder than trained military units. An old man in a pressurized suit used a broken pipe to disable an exoscout. Teenagers wired repurposed mining drones into suicide traps. Medics stitched wounds on themselves while still administering care to others. On a captured outpost, a Threx officer watched security footage of a human rescue operation. A team of 5 stormed into a collapsing tunnel to pull out survivors, knowing the air was seconds from burning. None of them made it out, but they got every civilian free. That wasn't strategy, the officer muttered. That was madness. No, replied the Threx technician beside him. That was devotion. Back on Earth, humanity wasn't mobilizing a fleet, they were preparing for annihilation. Every city became a war node. Schools became shelters. Subways turned into tactical corridors. Their oceans full of drones. Their orbit mined with layers of fail-safes, designed not to prevent defeat, but to make victory so costly no sane empire would ever try again. Threx Command still clung to protocol. They launched a mass assault on the Luna colonies to crush morale. But when they landed, the colony had already been emptied in its place. Automated systems activated a massive electromagnetic pulse timed with solar flare interference. The entire assault fleet's core systems shut down mid-atmosphere. Gravity took care of the rest. Even without ships, even without orbit, even without visibility, Earth still struck back. And always the same eerie pattern followed. Humanity never gloated, never threatened, never answered calls for terms. Only silence. And then devastation. The Threx were no longer asking, how do we win? They were asking, how do we make them stop? The galaxy watched in growing dread as the Threx dominion collapsed, piece by piece. What began as a clean exercise in domination had mutated into a slow, surgical erasure. Planets fell not through conquest, but abandonment. Supply chains evaporated. Stations went dark. Colonies began vanishing without a trace, no fire, no wreckage. Just gone. Other species, once neutral or indifferent, pulled their envoys from Threx space. A few sent cautious messages to Earth, offering alliances, reparations, or even apologies. Earth responded with nothing. No messages, no diplomacy. Just the same, unwavering silence. The Threx, desperate to reclaim control, deployed their final card, the Grand Armada. Every functioning vessel, every war beast, every remaining capital ship was rallied into one force, thousands strong. Their destination, Earth. But when they arrived, they found no resistance. Earth's orbit was empty, satellites offline. Global. Power signature 0. Cities dark. It looked abandoned. Silent, cautious scans revealed life deep underground. Subterranean networks, submerged bunkers, arcologies buried beneath oceans and ice caps. Humanity hadn't fled. They had gone to ground. The Threx descended. Then the Earth woke up. Every building they entered became a trap. Windows emitted blinding pulses that fried optical sensors. 8 streets collapsed under heavy armor, guiding invaders into ambush funnels. Broadcast towers reactivated and screamed ultrasonic codes that crashed Threx implants. Drone swarms rose from riverbeds, from sewers. From cracks in roads, they never saw a human face. Only machines, systems, a world that fought like a single organism. Then came the message. One line, emotionless, repeating across every frequency. This ends when you do. The final blow wasn't military, it was biological, an engineered virus. Coded to only affect Threx DNA swept silently through their fleet. It's not fast enough to panic them, just slow enough to let them see the end coming. Threx Prime was quarantined, then sterilized. Not by warheads. By precision orbital insertion of atmospheric catalysts. The world didn't explode, it just became. It's uninhabitable. And Earth said nothing. They never claimed victory, never demanded territory, never issued threats. They simply stopped responding. Rest of the galaxy understood. A silent accord spread among the stars. Do not provoke. Species 92b. Do not land on their moons. Do not survey their borders. Not speak their name. On a remote outer colony, a child asked an elder, "What are humans really like?" The old being answered softly, "They are the only species that doesn't fight for dominance. They fight because you left them no choice, and they do not stop." The child paused. "Are they gone now?" "No," the elder whispered. "They're listening."